Christmas Day and you're feeling like crap. You have a high fever, you're spewing out who knows what, you're vomiting, and all you can think of is, dang, I feel like crap. Well, what would you say if I could tell you you don't have to feel like that? Well, what I'm going to talk to you today is about vaccinations. If you vaccinate, then you will be able to prevent most diseases that are preventable. So, okay. So today I'm gonna talk to you about how vaccines are made, what they are, the importance of them. I'm gonna counter the naysayers on why they are misinformed, and I'm going to also urge you to vaccinate. So vaccines, how they are made is, if you don't know, that there are weakened viruses or killed viruses that are injected into your bloodstream. Now, the virus is not bad enough, it will not cause you the disease, but it is just enough for your immune system to detect that the disease is there, and so then your body will make antibodies that are used to fight against the disease, and then the disease, that when you are actually exposed to the real disease, then you will have the fighters to fight off the infection, and then you won't be sick. So, and also vaccinations have been proven for many, many years that it has increased life expectancy. And to show you the impact, according to historyofvaccines.org, measles, for example, it has been numbered about 300,000 to 800,000 cases a year, and that was between 1950 to 1963. But once the MMR vaccine, the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine was introduced, then the cases dramatically dropped by 97.25%, which is huge. So 3 years later, the cases have dropped to 22,000, and in recent years has dropped pretty much to 100 or less a year. So it's pretty much almost eliminated. But the thing is, measles is still a threat, because even though we do vaccinate, it's not 100%, and people still do die of measles. And so, because some people might think, oh, it's eliminated, it's gone. No, it's gone because most people vaccinate. And then also for vaccinations, even though it's really good against fighting diseases and you don't have to deal with the horribleness of having the actual disease, there are side effects. Usually it involves maybe soreness, a little bit of fever, muscle cramping, but it's not as bad as if you got the actual disease. And the thing is, the worst case scenario, these diseases can potentially kill you. Some people don't understand that. They can kill you in the worst cases. Now, there was a controversy about vaccinations, and you might wonder where it came from. And it was from a study by Andrew Wakefield, a medical doctor in London, and pretty much in 1998 he published a medical paper that pretty much said autism was due to vaccines, but it was actually completely falsified, wrong. People found out later he didn't even do an actual controlled scientific study. He manipulated the results. He even had personal interests involved, because he was involved in a lawsuit with MMR vaccines, and pretty much this paper was going to help him make a lot of money. And on top of that, he said the majority of the kids, which there were only 12 kids in the study, had autism, but in reality only one might have showed signs. So pretty much the one and only paper that said autism was caused by vaccines, it was completely false. But unfortunately, word spreads and people start being suspicious of vaccines, and we can't get it out of the public's mind. And celebrities, including like Jenny McCarthy, also have talked about vaccines and how she's against them. And one of the issues she also mentioned were ingredients of the vaccines, that they include toxins such as like aluminum, mercury. But the thing is, all these ingredients have a reason. They're usually there to preserve or to prevent like bacteria from growing into the vaccine. And these are all in trace amounts, which are extremely small, not toxic. Even studies have shown like you're exposed to more of these chemicals in your everyday life than what's in the vaccine. And even when you're injected with these are very trace amounts, so it's not even detectable in your body. Now that I'm going to talk about the risks of not having a vaccination and pretty much why you should vaccinate. Now, according to Dr. Sears, which was on the Doctor's Show, to put in perspective of if you don't vaccinate, between 1991 and 2001, out of 1.9 billion doses of vaccines given, there were 18,000 doses that had bad outcomes. 1 in 5,500 doses of vaccines will cause a problem each year, which sounds really bad, but the thing is, in perspective, what about if you caught the disease? Because these were from like bad side effects. But then if you actually catch the disease, 85,000 kids a year will catch a vaccine preventable illness out of 50 million kids, which comes out to 1 in 600 kids that will catch the preventable illness. Now, would you rather look at the odds of having maybe a bad side effect, but it's at least a really small amount, or 1 in 600 kids will catch a disease and they could potentially die, which is really horrible. And the illness is way, way worse than these side effects. So, and that was each year. So, in addition, why you should vaccinate is the economic costs. When kids get sick, parents have to miss work, send them to the doctors, all that stuff, where parents can't work and then they can't make money. And pretty much if you vaccinate, it only takes a little bit of time, like a doctor's appointment, and then the person won't get sick, you don't have to miss work, all that good stuff. So then there's a lot of money that is saved. Also, when you vaccinate, the thing is, okay, when you vaccinate, the thing is, if everybody vaccinates, it will increase the herd immunity. Now, the concept of herd immunity is when majority of people are vaccinated, then it will help at least the people who can't be vaccinated, which are like people who have immunocompromised immune systems, little babies who can't be vaccinated because they're too young, all those people, or people who are allergic to the vaccine. If people vaccinate, the thing is, the virus, if they're exposed to the virus that they were vaccinated from, then pretty much the virus will die because you already had the antibodies to fight against the disease. But let's say I wasn't vaccinated, I have meningitis, I cough on Mike, and Mike will get the disease, and then he will cough, and he wasn't vaccinated, he will cough on everybody else, and it will all spread. But what if I was vaccinated, then even if I was exposed to meningitis, then I won't spread the disease, it will just die by itself. And then if Mike was vaccinated, he won't be spreading it to everybody else either. And let's say everybody was vaccinated except for one person who might have had who was allergic to the vaccine. The thing is, none of us will, even though if we are exposed to, let's say, meningitis, we won't be spreading it to that one person. So that one person, even though they're not vaccinated, they won't get sick. But if, let's say, 90% of the class was not vaccinated, and then the meningitis had came over to the classroom, and then all those people will be spreading it to each other, well, pretty much the only people who will not get meningitis are the people who got vaccinated. So pretty much, moral of the story, if everybody vaccinates if they can, then it will help everybody else who can't be vaccinated. So in all, the disease will not spread. Now, and in addition, last of all, the vaccines today have been improved. Many years ago, they had more chemicals, all that stuff that we might be questioning about. But the thing is, over the years, it has improved. So, and it's much more safer nowadays than it was long ago. And so, in conclusion, pretty much vaccinate yourself, because not only are you helping yourself by not getting the disease and not feeling like crap, you are helping your other people around you. You're helping your loved ones, your little infants in your family that might not have the immune system. You won't get them sick. Your elderly parents, they won't get sick, and pretty much it'll help everybody else. Plus it's cheaper, and on top of that, it's actually pretty affordable. It's covered usually by most insurance. The flu shot is a vaccine, and right now flu's going around, and our health center offers the flu shot for free. So you don't even have to pay any money. You can just go there and get a flu shot. So it's pretty easy to get vaccinated, and you're gonna help everybody else. So vaccinate.
All right, Brianna, what did you think?
I liked your speech topic. I've always kind of been against vaccinations because I was afraid I would get sick from them, because there's kind of a thing going around where they're like, oh, if you get a shot or whatever, they're giving you the sickness and you're going to get sick from that. So I kind of feel like you turned around my thought process of that. I feel like some of you knew your information really well, so that was good. You didn't really have to read off the parts too much, but I felt like you needed to slow down a little bit. It felt a little bit overwhelming for me to understand everything you were trying to say. I thought you had a really good preview. You spoke loud enough and had good voice fluctuations. I thought it was pretty good.
All right. Yeah, she's loud and clear, and I think there is a lot of data in the speech. You do a good job explaining things and packing in data and giving us examples and helping us relate to it. I thought you had a couple of good persuasive appeals based on those sorts of things also. So my criticisms have less to do with the content than anything else. I think the content is really strong, and even some of the delivery things were pretty solid. I do think your eye contact is very inconsistent. You basically are looking down the whole time you're speaking. Even though you're not dependent on the notes, you're just not looking at people while you're talking to us. You're kind of looking in the direction of our feet, and you need to engage us a little bit more. The thing that I was noticing is that you have a style that I think probably would be perfectly fine in some audience environments, but here I think it doesn't quite work, because we're asking you to step up and be a little bit more professional, and there are a couple of things that just jump out at me right away. Crap is probably an overused word, and if it happens once or twice, it's not that big a deal. I thought I heard a half a dozen craps in your speech, and that's a lot of crap. Some of the transition phrases are also a little mechanical, and they sound almost like child. Now I'm going to pick up my fork and put the food in my mouth, kind of thing. You're saying, and now I'm going to talk about why you should vaccinate and all that stuff. I heard all that stuff several times. Much more safer. There's just some of that phrasing that makes it sound like you really haven't practiced it. You didn't think about how it's sounding. It's not coming across quite as polished. So you've done a good job putting a speech together, and now you're underselling it. Which is not what you want to do. You want to sell it well. You want to give it a more complete package. And so I think that's where you hurt yourself a little bit. All right. Thank you.